Today we have the original footwork master. Before there was Manny Pacquiao, before there was Vasily Lomachenko, this guy paved the way for all those people with his amazing footwork. Former bantamweight champion of the world, the one, the only Orlando Canizales is joining us. Let's do this.
Sorry. All right.
How you doing, champ?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
to the champ and the chump. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Jeremy Williams, former. He fought in your era as well, right? Same time
Yeah, I remember him.
A little bit.
I remember him, yeah.
Everybody remembers me. They're trying to figure out who you are.
yeah, right.
Hey, so
Yeah.
Jeremy, what'd you say? You cut out.
I said, are you in Texas? Where are you living these days?
Yeah, I live in Texas. I live in South Texas, close to San Antonio.
And that's where you grew up.
In Laredo. Yeah, I'm born and raised here. I still live here.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If there's any fighters that you guys want us to interview, old school, new school, whatever, let us know, because we're here for you guys and we'll make it happen. Now just please take a quick second to subscribe and like. It's pretty impressive. Peace.
Okay. So let's start off. I guess. What was your amateur background? How many amateur fights did you have?
I had 120 amateur fights. I won 108 and lost 12.
That's great.
Wow, that's a great record.
And
Yeah, I mean, I never won any national titles or anything like that. I just won a state champion, and I made it I think it was 1982. I made it to in 1983. I lost in the semifinals in the national Golden Gloves.
Who champion that year? Who won the title?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, he didn't go on.
But I mean, he won the tournament that year.
Yeah, but did he go on to be a professional fighter?
No.
mm,
No, he didn't.
okay. And were you as an amateur? Were you still 115?
I know one.
Actually, that was 112. I started at 106 and then 112 flyweight.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
the 112 guy, I'm sorry, the 106 guy. I'm in the 90s team. Man, the guy at 106 was one of the baddest dudes on our team. Little black dude, Eric.
Oh, Eric. Oh, yeah. I remember him. Yeah.
I mean, he can fight.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so for your career, you mostly fought at 115, right? And then you went up to junior feather, right?
Actually, I fought at 112. I fought Paul Gonzalez for the North American title at flyweight, and then I moved up to 115, and then to eventually and stayed at 118. That's where I won the IBF title at 118.
118. So for people watching, you're a very special fighter for the reason that your footwork and your angles was something that we hadn't seen before. I mean, the closest I would say, and tell me if you actually looked up to this guy, was Willie Pep. Did you look up to him at all? Because
no, that was before. I mean, I wasn't even born. I didn't think.
Sure,
so.
but
no, but I never.
But I mean, just like watching his videos and stuff. Did you ever like study him or
No, never have. No.
Wow. Your angles and reminds me a lot of Pacquiao. Pacquiao had similar angles.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, it was something amazing to watch, and you had a lot of power for a smaller guy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people ask me where'd you learn that, and I say no. Well, I just it wasn't just natural. It was natural. I mean, I practiced in the gym. It was just like, it came out natural. And then, like we said, when I spar and when I train, I would, move around and do pivots and do, the side angle, side step and angles and that. And when I spar, I would also do it. And then when I fight, it would come out natural.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, practice what you preach. Right? Once you do it in the gym, hopefully you can translate it into the fight.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I practice every day and at the gym, and I would train 6 days out of the 6 days out of the week. So, and I would practice that. So, and that's it came out natural. Like nobody taught me or anything like that, or never saw anybody do that because I mean, my back then my favorite fighters was Ali, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Leonard, and Roberto Duran, and those are the guys that my idols
Wow.
growing up.
What was boxing a love or was it a like?
Was it both? I guess, I mean, at first it was, I mean, when I started at the age of 10, I mean,
Oh,
at the age of 10,
wow.
you're a little kid, it just, but then I grew and I said, wait, I'm going to continue and one day, be a world champion. And that was my goal. So, I mean, I returned to, I mean, it was boxing, day and night. I mean, that's all. I mean, I dedicated myself to the sport and had discipline and, because I really wanted to get there, be the best,
You know,
and be a world champion.
an interesting fact that people may not know, you have a brother who was also world champion at the same time you were, right?
Right, right. Yeah, Gabby, he won the title before me. I mean, he beat Richard Sandoval in '86. I won the title in '88, but he lost his title in the first defense, and then he later on he won the WBO. Well, I was a champion, so we were both world champions at the same time at the same weight.
Wow. And
Yeah.
would you
Right.
have ever fought each other if it came up, or that was something you just wouldn't do?
Never. That's a never.
Well, I mean, we sparred a lot. Like we sparred over 1,000 rounds. I mean, in the gym, we sparred a lot. I mean, but fighting no. Now I respect my brother. He's 4 years older than me. I mean, he can kick my ass though, but he had a power. I mean, he hit harder than me. I mean, he hit hard. I mean, I know because I sparred a lot of times with
Right.
him, and so I know his power. So, but I never in real fighting, I would never fight him. No.
As a professional fighter, what going through your first maybe 10, 12 fights, what did you feel was your best attribute in those when that young as a first professional career?
Um, well, I mean, like the first couple of fights, it was like you're just starting. I'm fighting 4 rounders, 6 rounders, and then I fought in I think my 11th, 12th, or 13th fight, I fought Paul Gonzalez,
Oh wow.
and I lost. And yeah, it was my 12th or 13th professional fight. And I fought. It was my first national TV, and and I lost. It was I lost the decision, but that fight was a learning experience for me. After that fight, I didn't lose a fight for like I don't know about I would say it's 8, 10 years, something like that. I never lost a fight
I
again.
mean, you also fought, a lot of your fights were in the 15-round era, right?
Well,
Some of them.
the first fight. I mean, I was one of the last ones. I mean, 15, because I think when I fought in July, no, was probably yeah, July when I fought Seabrooks. It was 15 rounds, and then I think in September they changed it to 12.
That fight, that was your first world title, right? Where you won?
Yes,
That
yes, sir. It was my first fight. Yeah, and I knocked him out in the 15th round. It was one of the in the 15th round, last round.
that was crazy. And you were ahead when you're not, right?
I believe so. Yes, I was ahead on the scorecards. Yes.
From,
Wow.
from from doing 15, cutting back down to 12, which one would you prefer?
12.
12?
What do you mean? After the 12, I mean, I was like, you just get exhausted. Not, even though you're in great shape, you still like, I mean, it's, after 12 rounds, it's like, you just you want to finish. You want to be over it. So I think, I mean, 12 rounds, I think, I don't know, I'd rather have 12 rounds than 15.
So you fought in the era right around,
I'm sorry.
it's okay, right around near the end of your career, maybe, but there was a lot of great fighters that you probably just missed out on. Prince Ahmed would have been a possibility. Uh, Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, even maybe Michael Carbajal. Um, is there anybody that you really wanted to fight, but you never got the chance to?
Um, well, actually, Not really. I mean, it's like, I was there were I think it was I was a little bit there was a they offered me a fight with Barrera.
Oh,
And but they wanted me in California, but the pay wasn't good enough, so we declined that fight. Also, we wanted with Nassim Hamed. They wanted me to go to England, but still, I mean, still they want to pay what I asked for, so that fight didn't come through. But with those two fights.
wow.
And then and back then, I mean, Junior Jones. I think Junior Jones was the champion, and then he was a WBA champion. But we never like talked about unifying titles.
Well, you fought Junior Jones, which, by the way, anybody who hasn't seen it, that was a great fight. You and him, it was a.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. But that was in another weight class. It wasn't 122. It was in 118.
Mm-hmm. So you know that's great. That in a way, I mean, it's not great because the fans would have loved to have seen those fights against Barrera or Prince, but it's great in the sense that you what you were worth and you stuck by it. Um, were they really? Obviously, I'm not asking for numbers, but were they really offering way less than you wanted, or was it even close to what you wanted?
No, it was a lot less that it was a lot less that they were offering. So I mean, that's why I didn't. We didn't take those fights.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Um,
You move you get in the gym these days around. Do you get in the gym these days and work with kids, or just what are you doing these days?
Yeah, well, I mean, I work for the city. They have a gym named after my brother and I,
Oh, wow,
and I'm the supervisor there. I run it.
that's good.
I run the gym and I train kids. I mean, adults and anybody who wants to, learn the basics or the fundamentals of boxing. I'll teach them. But yeah, that's what I give classes or teach boxing to a community.
I mean, also, you were inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, right, in '09.
Yes, sir.
Whew, that must have felt amazing. I remember hearing that you gave a pretty good speech. I mean, what was that like being inducted to the Hall of Fame? Was it really emotional?
Well, I mean, it's, I mean, yeah, because I mean, it's that's the ultimate goal for any, I guess, for a world champion or any boxer that, I mean, to be recognized as, in the Hall of Fame, and not everybody gets to be in that stage, and so for me, it was something, and at that time I was the third Texan, so the other two are heavyweights. So the other two are heavyweights. It was George Foreman and I don't remember the other one, but it's another heavyweight from the Galveston or Houston area. And I was the third Texan. So I mean, I mean, it was very emotional, and it's I'm just so delighted and happy about it.
What
Wow.
what was your favorite part of training for a fight?
What was the favorite
Yeah,
part?
of training. Like, what did you enjoy more in the gym?
Well, training it's hard. I mean, and as you know, as a former fighter, you know that training it's not that easy, and
Yeah.
it's not that you like to train, but it's something that you have to. I mean, you have to put in the work, and it's not that I really like it, but it's something that I had to do, and I mean, it was like just a way of doing things, and but I mean, I run, I run 6 miles every day. I mean, I like running. I mean, I still run once in a while, and I still work out and train. But but back then, the training, the sparring, and everything, it was really hard. But I mean, it's something that it was to be the best. You have to really train hard and to be able to get in shape and to be ready for a fight. So it's I mean, it was something like more of not a tradition, but like more of a everyday thing that you do.
Mm.
For you, like me, what training for me was my job. That's what I did. So I would imagine how it felt for you at that point.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, so me, like, yeah, like I've been boxing since I was a baby. But when I got older, training was like my job. That's what I did, train. So I would imagine you probably felt the same way.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, back then I was that was my livelihood. I mean, that's what I did from I never I didn't work, so that was my job. You can say that it was my work job, my work that would to feed my family. I had to raise my family. So yeah, that was it was my job as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, my
Um,
training was finishing.
finishing the um, who
I'm sorry, I think.
I said my favorite part of training was finishing.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was training at the
you know
the finish
well
right.
one thing about you, people always talk about your footwork and your angles, but you also had an amazing, your chin, man. You were never stopped, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right. No,
No,
I mean I was knocked down twice, but never, I got up and won those fights. But knocked down, never. I was never knocked out.
no, you weren't even really hurt. Who would you say was the hardest puncher out of all the people you fought?
I would say there's two, Junior Jones and Wilfredo Vasquez. Those two that they come to mind that hardest punches that I fought.
Ah, wow, okay.
And the fight with Junior Jones, it was really close, and you had felt that you won that fight, right?
I thought I won. I mean, he was grabbing and holding a lot, but I mean, it happens. But I thought it was a close fight. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. And, one thing I saw with you in that fight, and I'm curious why, it seemed, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed to me like you were brawling, or you were doing toe to toe more than usual. Is that true, or did you feel that way, or no?
No, no, I mean, it's just because I mean he was taller, so I mean my I had to go inside and had a different. I mean, because of his style of fighting and his height, I had to change my style of fighting.
Yeah.
Mm,
Did you like changing your style?
I mean, I have to adapt. I mean, you do whatever you have to do to
Yeah, I
adapt
mean,
to any, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's something that you have to do. I mean, and one of the things I think, I mean, also that people don't. Some people are just, either you're a boxer, you're a brawler, but to be able to do both, I mean, I mean, nobody, I mean, or a little bit of everything,
oh, cool.
it's not easy, or not many do that. Not many boxers do that, and I think I was able to adapt to any style.
Mhm.
That was my God gifted talent, I guess, to adapt to any type of style.
So that said, any other sport you're good at?
I mean, I've always, when I was little, I mean, younger, around, 8 or 9, I played flag football, basketball, and little league, and I was good in everything, all sports. I mean, I think I was good in every sport. I mean, I ran fast. I mean, everything, and like I said, but because of my height, I never continue to pursue those sports because I'm only 5'5". So I know I wasn't gonna be, I don't make it in basketball or baseball or football. So, but boxing, it was my giving,
You ever wrestle?
So, but I mean, I was good. I excelled, in every sport. I mean, I was good at it.
Did you ever wrestle?
No, wrestle?
Yeah, wrestle. But they got
No, no, never. No,
no.
Um,
no. I don't know.
so it is if you could choose, if you could get to fight any fighter from not just from your era, but from whenever, around your weight, who would you have liked to have fought?
Manny Pacquiao.
Really? Wow.
That would have been
Manny.
crazy. You'd have been like watching a tennis ball YouTube with the angles and like.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I mean, I knew it was for me. It's too far as softball. I know what. It's all mechanical. You know what? You just gotta. I mean, like I said, I have good reflexes. My I mean, that's very important in boxing. You to have good reflexes. I mean, that's I think one of the important things. And I think I had great reflexes. So I think I would. I think Pacquiao would be not an easy fight, but I know I would have beat him because of his style of
Oh,
fighting.
really? Pac-Man, huh? Wow. What about somebody's right here, Julio Cesar Chavez?
He's too heavy. Chavez.
But what the weight was.
Cesar Chavez?
Somebody in the comments here said Chavez, but he's too heavy.
No, he was a lot heavier. He was a
No,
lightweight.
but don't worry about the weight. You guys weigh the same. Would you? How?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I would still beat him. Like, even though those past like Sarate and Zamora, those guys before my time, those bantamweights by time,
Yeah.
I mean, Chavez was a tough guy, but I mean, he was a brawler. He would just come forward,
Yeah,
but you know.
definitely that. But the definitely about it. So what your trainer who was your trainer back in the day? I couldn't find him.
Well, my trainer before I started pro, it was Tony Ayala Senior. I started with him,
Okay.
and I was in San Antonio training with the Ayalas. Tony Ayala Senior. He was my first professional trainer. I had my first three fights was with him, and then I moved to Houston, and then when Jesse Reed started working with me, training me back, for the rest of my career.
Jesse Reed, I've known Jesse Reed for a long time. He's a real good guy.
Yeah, Jesse Reed. Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, he's very positive guy. I mean, he's a great man inside and outside the ring. I mean, the guy he's a great man.
Do you follow current boxing now?
Sometimes, not yeah.
Not much.
Well, I mean, like I still do, but not that much. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I really haven't heard of, especially the heavyweights or from from Europe, but locally here in the States or Mexico or South America, whatever. I mean, I'm more. I mean, I know more of them. I mean, I do follow, but not that much.
Right, right. Because I was going to ask you, what fighters do you like that are fighting now? Is there anybody that stands out that you really like?
Oh well, I mean, I think right now, Bud, for me, he's a pound for pound,
You think?
Bud, and then Canelo is second. But Crawford, his IQ is just like over 100%. Like he's really good at doing left and right, and I mean, that's what I look when I see a fight. I look at the reflexes and what they do and how they react to the punches and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I think that Crawford is my pound for pound right now,
Put him above.
and then Canelo.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you
Yeah.
you still enjoy watching fights and going to them?
Excuse me?
You still enjoy going to fights and watching them and all that?
Oh yeah, I still sometimes once in a while I watch him and yeah, and go I like yeah I do. I mean, I think boxing is it's been my life ever since I was 10 years old and still is. I mean, I still work with kids and teams of boxing and sometimes I watch and that's the zone and those fights in the zone and PBC and
Sure.
and Fox Sports. I mean, I still keep on with some of the guys that are still fighting, and I guess boxing will be in my blood till I die.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your opinion on the YouTube guys who are fighting now, like Jake Paul and those guys? Do you think it's a good thing?
Ah, no, I think that's a joke. I mean, like those they're not. I mean, it's just like wrestling. It's a comedy thing. Like they're just doing it for money too. But really, I mean, they shouldn't be like it's just it's a business thing and it's more of a business than anything else. It's not even a sport. But I don't
Jake,
I mean, I don't agree with that. But hey, but to each his own.
Jake Paul needs to fight a real guy. Let somebody one of them tap him around a little bit.
He
Yeah.
was supposed to fight Tommy Fury, who's Tyson Fury's younger brother, but
Right. Well.
But he's not Tyson Fury.
he's still,
Oh yeah. Well, he's not. Yeah.
you know.
Fighting somebody who looks like the guy is not fighting a real guy.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not.
Um. So Orlando, would you be interested, or do you train people? Like, would you want to train any like pros, like at the high level? Would you ever want to do that, or do you do that?
Well, right now, because I'm a city employee, I mean, it's hard for me to to get out and work with. But I mean, I would help them in any way I can, and just like and maybe later on when I in a couple of years when I retire, maybe I'll do it. I'll get pro fighters and work with them. But like I said, right now, I mean, there's a lot of people that calling me from all over the world, or several guys that they want to come to Laredo to train with me. I say, I'm willing to help you, but to me, to get out and travel, it's really hard for me to do that right now.
What's your job for the city? What do you do?
The trainer.
Like I said, I'm a supervisor. I run my boxing gym.
Oh, and that's for the city. Okay.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth City. I run. There's a gym after my brother and I, Canizales boxing gym here in Laredo, and I run it. I'm the supervisor there.
That's great.
I work.
That's great.
Excuse me.
And you get city. You're in the union too, right?
Well, I mean, it's no, it's not a union. We don't. I don't have a union.
Okay. Because I'm here, like I'm in New York, and like every city job here is a union, so I didn't know if it's.
Yeah, no. Only the fire department and police department, they're in the union,
Mm.
but not not civil, not other employees.
That's still
No.
a great job, though, right? You must. I assume you really like it.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I have benefits and everything, and I get paid well. So I mean, for doing what I love to do, I can't complain.
Did Did you ever move around with like Michael Carbajal or any of the kind of bigger names from back in when you were fighting? Anybody you sparred that comes to mind, like a big name?
Well, I sparred with Chiquita Gonzalez several times back in California. Remember he fought Carvajal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only person that I spar with.
So was it frustrating fighting? Being a lower weight, especially back then when the lower weight guys really never got much exposure.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. What was it
Was
again?
it frustrating to be fighting at a lower weight back in the '90s when guys in your weight class, like they wouldn't get that much exposure?
Well, I mean, I at that time I didn't look at it that way. I was just like, I would just wanted to get fights and whether I get the exposure or not. I mean, for me, it wasn't really. It was important to me. For me, it was just winning and breaking records and here and there, and that's really what that was my motivation to keep on winning and keeping my title. But I mean, the recognition comes with the territory, but for me, I mean, I never really thought about that. But nowadays, it's like, wow, they're paying a lot more than back then, and it's
Yeah,
a lot more.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it sucks. They always pay more later. It's crazy.
Yeah, it happens.
I think
Yeah.
Team might have been probably the first guy at a lower weight to actually start making a lot of money and get exposure.
Oh, you said
Was that?
Nassim?
Prince
But
Team.
I think Carvajal and Conchita Gonzalez, they were the ones that got $1 million. I mean, I was getting 150,000, 200,000 a fight.
I don't,
I mean, it wasn't that bad back then. Are you talking about 30, 40 years ago?
That's
hey,
not bad.
But still, like what they're doing now, like
what you ended your career with a record of what?
55-4,
50 wins and 5 losses.
Wow.
50 and yeah, and almost I would say
Yeah,
all those
50
losses
wins
were
and five
some
losses.
of them were, and some of those losses weren't real losses, and every fight that
Yeah,
you lost was
well,
really close.
yeah, well, I think, yeah, well, four. Even though I also thought that I beat Wilfredo Vasquez, but it happens. But the first
Yeah,
the first the
and
one the
go
first fight
ahead.
that
I'm
I
sorry.
thought I really lost was my first one with Paul Gonzalez. I mean, that was a clear loss. I mean,
Okay.
I accept that.
You couldn't have beat him with two people. That was America's hero. At the
Yeah, but I beat him in a rematch. But the first fight,
initially
we fought again for my title,
when
and I stopped him in the second or third round.
he came off that Olympic gold, man, that guy he was a poster boy for everything Latin in America. What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I remember with the Vasquez fight, even the announcers were, the unofficial scorecard. Everybody had you up in that one.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought I won that one. And then another one that I lost that I thought that I won also. It was in Philadelphia at I think not the Spectrum. It was I can't remember the place, but it was they don't have it. They knocked it down. But it was a very the Blue Horizon
Oh,
Right.
in Philly. Oh man, that was a great place to fight. I love flying there. I fought like 3 or 4 times there.
I fought twice there. It was freaking tough.
The Blue Horizon. Oh yeah, it
And
was like wow.
I fought middle
They had a small ring too.
small ring.
The ring was very small.
People was up on top of you booing and cheering.
On top, yeah. On top is crazy. On top, yeah.
That was a tough fight.
Uh,
Yeah.
how old were you when you retired?
My last fight. I was 33 in 1988. My last fight I fought in was 1998. It was with Frankie Toledo. I lost decision, and I was 33 years old. And after that fight, I retired.
Yeah, I was going to ask what made you decide to retire at that point exactly?
I felt burned out. I mean, after 23 years of doing boxing, amateur and pro, I did it for 15 professional and 8 amateur. So after 23 years, I felt burned out, and I think I decided to do something else.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I went back to school and got my degree, college degree,
What'd you get?
sociology,
That's great.
sociology minor psychology.
Wow.
So yeah, I decided, it was, I had a great career. It was a time to, I mean, I was 33. I wasn't getting younger, so I decided to move on. I mean, to retire.
That's it. That was a great move, man. Sometimes people box too long. Some people box too short. But, I think you
Right.
had 50 fights. Same like me, I have 50, and I'm good. I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with
Mm,
livelihood. I'm good.
I had
right.
fight.
Yeah.
Very happy with that one.
Hey,
That's true. I only had
Yeah.
a pro fight, which is actually true. But
Yeah.
hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Hey, it was great talking to you, man. Thank you for your time and your energy. We appreciate
Oh, thank you for having me.
thanks.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
it.
it.
We're gonna get you and Michael Carpahall. We're gonna make that fight again.
Well,
It was,
all right, that'll be good.
Right.
a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Man, take care. Let's do it again soon.
All right. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bell, it sounded